Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Authentic Info Podcast. Now, there's an interesting topic when it comes to the ideology that the likes of, or the vision that the likes of PL Lumumba carries. One Africa, one currency, one military, no borders or borderless Africa and things like that. My question is, will we ever achieve that? Because recently, for example, Mali, if I'm not mistaken, has taken out French. The language French. In their documents, they no longer want to see it there. As an official language, if I'm not mistaken. Like they're getting rid of it. They got rid of it. Why are other African countries not following? And when I listen to other, politicians and political analysts who are analyzing, continentally, they will tell you that when Zimbabwe got their independence in 1980 and then took a resolution to nationalize the land, take white business to the state ownership. They say had South Africa followed, the SADC region, had it followed after, getting their freedom and make, the same move, South Africa should have been great. They should have achieved, but they were cowards. They say that negotiation that Mandela did in South Africa, that is to sell out. That is what other analysts are saying, that the reason we are not achieving the dream of one Africa, one currency, one military, everything, doing the same thing, it's because other leaders our leaders are captured, still by the West, and they go and take money there. And our countries have debts, from the West and things like that. So these things are making it difficult for our politicians to make such moves. And then countries like Zimbabwe were left, stricken by sanctions and very poor. And then it led to their people, running to seek, employment and life, health issues elsewhere. So the question remains, will Africa ever be one? Because when other politicians speak about removing borders, there are many, scholars, these educated ones who will say, welcome to say it's a bad move. Other Africans will come and take from us what the little that we have, for example, in South Africa. When political parties like the EFF say they want to remove borders if they get power, those who do not support the EFF, or those who want to support the EFF but they feel threatened by the way foreigners are in South Africa, they say, no, that's a bad move, and then they don't support the EFF based on that issue of removing the borders. That is the only issue that South Africans have against the EFF. The rest, they agree. So if we still have an issue when it comes to borders, whereas, in Europe, trains just move from one country to the other and things like that. But we are scared as Africans. I don't know what we were told or taught. The problem, I think, is also the books that we read, We didn't draft them. The education system that we are using, we didn't start it. It was imposed on us. And it inflicts a lot of fear on us. I mean, there's no border when I move from my home to my neighbor's home. There's no border. I just move. There's no border when I move from town to town. But I don't go to another town and say, now I'm staying here. From here, I'm staying there. That can be done once from a village in Limpopo to Johannesburg to settle for a job. And you always visit home. Like it is, there are no borders. But when we think of borders, some of us, have never been into another country. I mean, another continent. But we think like, hey, if they can remove the borders, we're going to have a problem. We hate other Africans so much. I think another problem with South Africans is that we don't travel. Black people don't travel that much. So we just imagine things and we get scared and then we don't want to support that idea. Because if Mali took a step to say French, no more French, even in South Africa we must do the same. Zimbabwe must follow. Nigeria must follow. Another one must follow, Kenya, things like that, And then after that, we have done with foreign languages. And then we can check which one can we adopt as our business language or medium of instruction. Okay, Swahili, and then we introduce these languages, in primary schools and things like that. And then we know that the upcoming generation, they know this language, they've mastered it. It is taught in primary schools and things like that. And then we know that we can communicate using that language. But we are very scared. This notion of one Africa, one currency, one military, what. In the minds of most black people, that thing, it's not sitting well. They don't agree. We are scared of each other and we are black. We're not scared of white people. We are scared of a fellow black man that they will come and take from me. But how many foreign nationals are in South Africa right now? I'm a South African. I'm in South Africa. But I don't feel threatened by those who are here illegally. I don't feel like one day I'll enter my house and then they are there. They are saying that now they own it. I don't feel that way. But there are those who imagine the day that a politician will remove borders, maybe Zimbabweans will just run to South Africa in their numbers. To do what? Where? Where are they now? Because when they're in South Africa, they organize themselves in squatter camps. And I think it can be simple for, governments from other countries to take care of their people. To say, we have residential areas for our people in South Africa. This is where they stay when they arrive. And then we document them, things like that. And then we trade, we live together. But we're not ready for that. And there's no discussion. No one supports that, especially South Africans say, we don't care. We don't want that. And I think it's bad, it's delaying us, because if one country is doing the opposite, and then the other country is trying to make sure that they prioritize Africa and Africans, while the other one's leadership is saying, no, it's bad. We have seen that, here in South Africa, the BRICS summit, number one opposition party saying, arrest. You want to arrest Putin? Hey, who are you? What do you have for the state? You are not even the ruling party. And it shows that if these people can be in charge, they're going to bring problems in Africa. You want South Africa to have a problem with Russia, and you say you are a leader. The DA in South Africa, the number one opposition party, official opposition party, influence that the president must arrest Putin. Come on. Why? How? You want to have beef with Russia? No. And it shows that if these people can be leaders, we're going to be in a mess. And it's white people. And there are black people who are supporting those white people. I don't know what's the problem. So this notion of one Africa, I think it needs to be preached. And we must be careful of leaders who don't speak about that. We must be very careful, whether they're in opposition party or what. But we must be very careful of leaders who don't speak about uniting Africa. Because Africa has everything. But if one country can stand to say they want to trade within Africa, they will trade alone. They will be isolated like Zimbabwe, and no other country will support them, which is bad. Imagine that each and every country took the direction of Zimbabwe after getting their liberation or independence. It would be nice by now. We have, our own minerals. We are good in agriculture. We have the land. We have water. We have everything in Africa. Everything. We have all the minerals that the world needs. And that's our problem. But if we can organize ourselves and take one direction, I think it can be achieved. But it will be very difficult. But I think it can be achieved. But when we still have leaders who take money from the West to finance, their mobilization and campaigns and things like that. And then when they win, they must pay back, and they must use, state resources and opportunities to pay back that money, which is dragging us back. Thomas Sankara showed us that a country can sustain itself with what it has, but he was betrayed by his right-hand man. They killed him. They don't want that. We have another one there in Burkina Faso now, who's very militant. He looks like a good leader. But is he going to last? I see he's always folding his arms ready to fight, because his fists ready to fight, because he knows that there's no one to trust, and what the direction that he's taking, he has started war. And the last time they had such a leader was with Thomas Sankara, and was very young. Thomas Sankara was also young. And this one is also 36, 35. But is he going to last? Are they not going to kill him? And the people who are going to be used to kill him, it's the people who are with him. We have a problem of politicians who have, the stomach in their head and the brains nowhere. It's a problem, because they betray us through killing, legitimate leaders, authentic leaders. And then we're left with no other option but them. And then they bring the West to come and rule Africa, which is bad. So I hope that Africa one day becomes one, with the vision that the likes of Professor Lumumba have, being achieved. But since we're still fighting amongst each other, I don't think that it will be easy. But we must be careful of the leaders who don't speak that language as South African politicians. South African politicians who don't speak the language of uniting Africa are a threat to Africa itself. Thank you. This is Authentic Info Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's grow together. Thank you.